We are hacking it up today, people. Not literally, but kinda. With DIYs and crafts. But today might be a little bit different. It might get a little weird. Starting with this thing. You know you needed a little bit of ASMR to fill up your day. When I seen this hack on TikTok using this poppet as a little paint holder, I was like, wait a minute. If this actually works, it could really make our lives a little bit easier whenever we're trying to paint something. So I grabbed a stencil. I love stencils, and I had this one. Mind the fact that I'm holding it upside down. There we go. That's a little bit better. All we're really going to do here is just waste the paint in the poppet container. We're going to empty this out as much as we can. In the hack on TikTok, it lets the paint dry out what you have left, and you're able to just pop the excess out and reuse it as necessary with an easy cleanup, which I thought was pretty nice because if you ever use a paint palette, it can be a pain to clean. And people, this was not my best stencil work, okay? Give me a break. I missed like the whole bottle. Good thing the stencil isn't the hack. Here's the hack. We let this dry, okay? And now we can just take the poppet pieces where the paint were and just pop them out, and the paint is dried and the little crusty bits just come out very easily. Now, obviously, if you exhaust all the paint completely in one of the little poppet pieces, that doesn't like come out like little crusty bits. The last one on the very end, I did exhaust all the paint. But I took a baby wipe to this after it was all done to get the extra crusty bits, and that paint wiped right on out of there. So this is a really cool hack if you go through paint palettes, because they can be a little bit tough to clean if your paint dries out on them. Or if you use paper plates like I do, it will help you save on waste. And a bonus, I thought, especially for the size of this, I can put a lot of colors in here and move it around easily as I'm working on my projects. But I could literally just like keep this by the craft desk, just to keep it by the craft desk, just because I could pop these things all day. How many of you have went to paint a mirror and then realize it is a struggle to tape that sucker off? Can we take a second and just appreciate how beautiful this mirror is? It's mine. Okay, it's mine and it's not going anywhere. It's actually made of ivory. It's flipping beautiful. On TikTok, I seen a video of someone just pulling this, I don't know what it was, like gooey like substance right off the mirror. I went to Google and Google showed me this stuff. And you're supposed to be able to just take it and apply it with a little paintbrush or whatever you want to use. And as you can see, it is a liquid, and you just put it right over the mirror, and it is better than taping everything off, and it pulls right off and you don't have any smear marks or anything like that. So I was like, oh yes, please, because every time I redo a mirror, I hate taping the piece off. It takes so much time, especially if it's curved like this. You have to do it in tiny little sections. This was super easy to apply, people. So easy. And it dried in just a few minutes. And the gooey-like substance is actually called masking liquid for anyone interested. I decided I was going to spray paint this piece, and unfortunately, not a damn thing went like I hoped it would. People, this is a little messy. It is definitely messy. Now it says that you can just pull this off. I know I got some on there. I'm going to have to use a razor. I should have went over the whole thing. I don't know why I didn't. Look at this. It's like glue. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put this on your skin, like the Elmer's glue. That's what this reminds me of. Oh my gosh, is it working? Maybe I didn't put enough on. I think it ate it. Maybe the spray paint ate it. Oh no. This is going to be a bad time for me. Yep. Yeah, I think maybe it's not supposed to work with spray paint. Or maybe I didn't put enough on here. I don't know. This is my first time using it, so I wasn't sure. but it's coming off. Like, it's easily peeling off, just not where the spray paint is. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is gonna suck. Sometimes when you try new things, it just doesn't work out the way you planned it. Yeah. See here, this is what I watched when I seen it on TikTok. I was like, ooh, you know, that's what it's supposed to do. But if it's not pulling the spray paint up, it doesn't say you can't use spray paint with it though. Oh. Well, people, this is gonna be a hot mess. If you're hanging out with me on Instagram, you will see the final result of this in a couple days. I really do not have time to finish this the way I want, and I was not anticipating having to scrape the mirror. So if you guys have used that stuff before, let me know in the comments. For this next hack, we're gonna need to adventure into my kitchen, and I don't want any judgment about how dirty the stove is, okay? I have literally been letting this sucker sit for at least 2 weeks, just collecting, because I have been told how amazing this miracle cleaner is. After the last several hack videos I've had, people have suggested to me to get the pink stuff, so I got the pink stuff. People, how many of you watching right now have used this stuff? Let me know in the comments below. This is my first experience with it, and I used it on 2 different things. This pan, which we have seen before. This might look familiar. The last time I tried scrubbing this sucker, we used like baking soda and Dawn and all of that stuff in another hack video. And we're gonna try it on this crusty bit stove. It's got like boiled over milk on top of it. Just ew. It says all great things, penetrates and, you know, removes grease and grime and leaves your surface clean and shiny. And I've had people say that this stuff is amazing, so I had extremely high hopes. I sprayed a ton of sprays. I even left the volume on here so you could hear all the sprays on the back of this cookie sheet that is from like 1932. And I took the grates off the top of the stove and then went ham on the top of the stove as well. The directions on the bottle say just to leave for a few seconds and wipe away. I was skeptical, so I was like, we're gonna leave for 5 minutes and then we're gonna wipe away. And we're not just gonna wipe away with a cloth. We're going to actually get a little scrubby and put some elbow grease in here just to be safe. I don't want anybody to think I didn't give this my best go, okay? After just a couple of seconds of scrubbing, I did see that some of this was coming off. Not a whole lot, but some. You can see that it's lifting as I continue to scrub. Hitting the camera too. You can see it's lifting as I'm continuing to scrub. I took some hot water and rinsed this off, and then just took a dry paper towel to make sure that I got all the chemical off of the piece. And to my surprise, nothing really changed. What's wrong with you? This is a miracle thing. This ain't no miracle cleaner. Listen. Anyhow, let's move on to the stove. I'm using the same type of scrubby, and this is the same kind of scrubby I really use. These or the Scott's. And I clean the stove pretty much every single week when I'm done with my sponge, because I like to change them out at least once a week because, you know, they get stuff in them and you want to make sure that you're using clean stuff. So I just went over the entire stove with the chemical that was already on there, this miracle cure cleaning stuff. I just gave it a really good scrub. I then took a little bit of hot water to get all the chemical off and some dry paper towels to get any excess off. I don't know if this is a miracle cleaner or not. It did an okay job. I've definitely used stuff that works better. Let me know in the comments below if you have a different hack you'd like me to try with cleaning supplies. If you're new to me and you have not been here other than this hack video, you won't know that I try hacks pretty regularly on this channel, but not your typical hacks. I literally put things to the test. If they're recommended to me in a community tab, I'll put a post out. Or if I see something on TikTok or in 5-Minute Crafts and I think it could benefit you, or it might be too good to be true, we're gonna give it a try. And whether it works or not, you're gonna find out by the time I'm done doing it. 90% of the time though, my lovely community has tons of suggestions. So I have no problem revisiting old hacks or new hacks using something we've already used, like food coloring. We recently used this in one of my Mod Podge hack videos, I think it was. We used this to color some Mod Podge, or it could have just been like the swirl. Anyhow, one of yous recommended that we take some of this and we put it and we make some stain. I'm like, I only got 4 colors. So we're gonna mix this up and try and stain some stuff. Bring in the food coloring. Sorry, I felt like it needed an intro. We needed to have at least one in this video. We're gonna take a little bit of water. I just maybe put 2 tablespoons in each one of these cups. Wasn't sure if I needed to, but just in case, you know, accidents happen. And then I Googled like what primary colors make brown. We're gonna need red, yellow, and blue because I want it to actually make a brown stain. However, I'm sure my drop to drop ratio might have been off. I initially started with the same amount of drops, and then as I started mixing everything together, I realized that it was not turning brown, so I started putting more of one color. Eventually I got to a color that resembled brown and just rolled with it. I know you're probably like, Brandy, live a little. We could have just did a red stain. You're right. However, you know, I just wanted to try and see if I could make brown for a brown stain for another brown stain option that doesn't have like a chemically smell versus, you know, regular stains like they typically do, unless you're creating your own DIY stains at home that don't have that with acrylic paints. Now, as you can see here, it's not too, you know, it's not too dominant. Doesn't look like much is going on. I just continued to trust the system and went along doing this to the entire little wood round I had here. And this is just a piece from Dollar Tree in case anyone is wondering. Once I got the first layer on here, I decided to speed up the process and take my little heat gun and dry it off. It actually turned into a pretty neutral color with some red highlights in it. And I love that you could still see the wood grain popping on through. However, I'm like, let's do another layer just because I want to see if we can make this darker. And I had a little bit of stain left, so why not? I did the same exact process. I just took the little paper towel with the stain. I went over it just one time and I used my heat gun to dry the piece off. And people, this worked out pretty good. 2 stains, and I really love the brown that this became. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Brandy, this didn't really stain that, but check this out. If you look from the front to the back, it is a huge difference. So I like having this in my arsenal as another little stain option. And we even got some pops of red and green in there. People, I couldn't put the food coloring away because I had another person tell me that we could use food coloring to actually make flowers different colors. And I had these white flower petals just sitting in my stash for some reason that I thought, Christmas is here, let's make some red and green flower petals. Normally, if I want to change the color of a flower that I have, I just paint it. You feel what I'm saying? But somebody said that we could put some of this food coloring and we mix it with a little bit of water and we can turn flowers different colors. So we're trying this hack too. In the tin, it looks awesome, but when you start pulling them out, you're like, oh, and I did let these sit for at least 20 minutes. I didn't just put them in there and take them right out. So, I mean, they are definitely a different color. They're not, you know, just the white anymore. Very, very dim. I wasn't overly impressed with food coloring. Okay, yes, our petals got there. But would it have been better if they sat longer? Maybe. But how long do you need to? I mean, let's just paint them and be done with it. Like, seriously. Anyhow, thank you for the recommendation. If you have another food coloring hack, anyone, put it down in the comments below. If you think it's crafty or DIY related, we will give it a try. People are often asking me to create a lot of projects that do not require a Cricut or a cutting tool. And I do own a Cricut, but I do not use it very often. I always try to keep in mind that not everyone has access to those things. So when I seen this hack where you can just take any app pop it up on your computer that has fonts, pick whatever font you want, and then grab you some tissue paper. Place it over top of the font that you have pulled up really large on your computer, and then trace over it with a pencil to be able to create your own fancy schmancy font DIYs. I was like, yes, please. Yes, my community must know about this immediately. And people, if you need to tape your tissue paper down, you go right ahead. I just held mine on there and it worked out just fine. Now off to the craft cave. We're going to want to flip this onto the back. We have our letters on the front, well, at least on one side. You figure out what front and back means to you. And then take our pencil and just scrub all over the back of this. So this way we have just, I'm not sure what this is called. Write down in the comments below if you know what this is actually called. To me, we're just kind of shading in the whole back where the letters are. Once you have a nice amount of that on there, we're going to bring in any surface that I guess you want. I'm using wood. This is in my mind what was going to work best for me. On the hack itself, they used, what is it called? A canvas, sorry. I was drawing a blank there. Now I'm just taking my pencil. Once I flipped it back over to where you could see the word, and I'm tracing over the outside of that. Now this is actually pressing where we, put that pencil into the wood. So this way it leaves us a nice little outline as a guide. And you can take a marker and you can fill this in, or you can do what I do and grab some chalk paint and paint this in. And it is extremely faint. So if you remove that and you want to take your pencil and go over a little bit more, you go right ahead. But at the end of the day, it's on there, and people, we can create our own fonts, whatever makes us fuzzy inside, and then color it on up however we choose to. And we have a beautiful little DIY font without having to use any expensive tools. And I just wanted to share one more time. Here it is on the screen, and here it is at the finished project. It really did turn out so good. I love this hack. That's going to be it for these weird hacks today, people. I'm not sure how beneficial these DIY hacks are. However, we got them done. We have our results and they are in the bag. If you have new hacks you want me to try, or that you have heard or that work best for you that you want to share with the community, drop them in the comments, or next time I post on the community tab, drop them in those comments so I can get it wrote down for us to give a go. If you're not hanging out with me on Instagram or Facebook and you want to see the end result for that mirror, please head on over there. The links are probably everywhere. Click on that follow or subscribe button or whatever. I hate saying that, like follow. Let's hang. Come hang with me over on Facebook or Instagram to see the end result. I did not have enough time to finish that project for this video with the time I had allotted to me, especially since I have to scrape the mirror. I still haven't even started scraping it with the filming. As always, I appreciate y'all coming to hang out with me today, and until next time.